in it that I just showed you?
Yeah, very nice.
Okay, I did that, so I promise you we're going to do, yours is going to be great. Okay, should I start?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, it's really lovely to meet you. We never get the chance to meet people, honestly, because and Allison's lucky. She gets to speak with everyone, but I don't get to speak with that many people. So thank you for inviting us into your home. This is amazing. And for doing this, because it's really hard for us to tell the story of how important people just having some place to go to get help is. It's hard to tell that story out there to people and get them to understand that they should come and get help, and that if they're in a position where they can give too, that they should give. So really, thank you. This is like amazing. So I just want to start by, can you start by telling us your name?
My name is Brenda Brown.
And Brenda, can you tell me, when did your diabetes story begin?
My diabetes story begins 8 years ago. I had a medical mishap or whatever, aneurysm. And I was in the hospital for 30 days, and during that time, it was discovered that I was diabetic. And upon discharge, and I had to go now through my primary doctors when we set up what I needed to do, and what it meant. I was prescribed the metformin, which was horrible because the pills are so big, I can't swallow the pills. It was very hard for me because I just didn't want it. Was active. I was trying to eat the right thing, eat salads, keep my weight down and not eat but sugar. I learned all the food. It's amazing. Anyway, it started 8 years ago, and it was very difficult. I was in denial. I didn't want to have it. My mom experienced diabetes. I watched her. So it was devastating for me to be diagnosed with diabetes.
So that was the emotion that you felt, the overriding emotion was being devastated.
It was horrible for me. It was hard to accept.
It sounds like you felt a little let down too, in terms of you had been working really hard to do the right things.
Yeah. I was active, period, because I like to. Mm-hmm. I'm hyper. Salads, chicken, turkey, or fish, my diet, and candy. So I don't think I ate more candy than I ate healthy foods. And I learned that at the foundation. But in any case, it started. And watching my mom dealing with it made it even worse because I did not want to repeat that. I wanted to break that mold.
That's amazing. So you didn't want to repeat her story. You wanted to create your own.
Right.
So how did you find the Diabetes Foundation? I'm not going in order. If that bothers you, let me know. No. But how did you find us?
Well, I was active, and I had just started playing tennis. One of my sons said, "Mom, I want to play tennis." So I said, "Okay." And taking him, there was an opportunity for adults to see or play, and I started doing that. And I met some terrific ladies out there. And one of them had diabetes, and I started talking with her. And she says, "Do you know about the Diabetes Foundation?" I said, "No." She says, "It's online. Just go online. You should go to their workshop. It's very good." And I did. And the first one I went to was with Marianne. And after that first session, the way she expressed herself and the information that I got made me feel so much better at the end of that 2-hour session. So now I made it a point not to miss them. Oh, it was 4, and I made it a point not to, and I did. I've missed 1 or missed 2 because of the kids, school, and all of that. But she helped me immensely with the information I was receiving. It made me feel not so bad that I had diabetes because it wasn't my fault. It could be anything. It could be pancreas. It could be hereditary. It could be, it's nothing to go that far. That's what I learned from her. So getting that information from my friend to go to the foundation was one of the best things that has happened for me with this diagnosis. I still don't like it.
That's right.
Yeah.
What do you remember what your A1C was when you were first diagnosed?
11.9.
11.9.
And it didn't mean anything because I didn't know the scale.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
5.7 is what we all should have, I think, if I'm correct. And if it was 6, then okay, you gotta watch it now. We don't want to go over, Then I learned you don't want to go over 7. So obviously, I was still eating to for the 11, but I had 11.9, and my doctor was so cool. She said, "Oh, you gotta bring that down." She didn't make it sound like as hysterical as I would get now if I had that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So when you got diagnosed in 2016 until the time that you came to the Diabetes Foundation, what was your diabetes management protocol? What did you do, like on an everyday basis? Was it all medication, or did you have some tools to be more active? It sounds like you were doing that already.
I didn't. Well, and that's why I was shocked, and especially after I learned that those were one of the prerequisites in order to maintain it, help yourself with this A1C. And the more I listened and I learned that maybe it's my body makeup. Maybe my pancreas is not working appropriately. It could be that. I definitely cannot and should watch what I eat, the starch, and what is starch that turns into sugar. So educational, I learned, So I just came up with everything that's white you can't have, cheese, rice, so on. Everything you love. Milk, ice cream. I lived for my Haagen-Dazs, and I did pretty good. So I got better when every time I went for an A1C test, the doctor's blood test, and maybe it wasn't 11 anymore, but it was now 10. It didn't just drop down. And, it didn't, because what was I doing? I was cheating, I guess. I was not following the protocol on what to eat and how much to eat and that sort of thing. And then I started going to the foundation, where I was getting the information that helped me get better. And then when I learned to play tennis, because I'm active, I met a great group of ladies that played tennis, and I remember it coming down to, I think, 7 points something. And my friend said, "It's the tennis you're playing. That helps you too. You're active." And I'm like, I bought me a bicycle because they rode bicycles. I could ride,
And how do you feel today in terms of, you mentioned you gave up everything you love in terms of food and things like that. Do you still feel that way all these years later?
Well, I learned through the education that everything in moderation, that you can have it, but you can't eat it like you used to eat it before. So you can treat yourself. What did they say that for? What I've learned about myself is that maybe you just stay away from that because you don't know when to stop, Oh my goodness. But knowing that I can is what's great. And as long as I'm active, I could eat. So at one point I would be bad. I'm going to call it being bad because I'd had more than I should have. I'd make sure that I'd walk like 3.5 miles, In the summertime was great because I could just get on my bicycle and ride, or play more tennis, which is great. But I've learned that if I stay away from it, it's easy. And when I do have that desire, which is once in a while, then I can enjoy it when I do have it. But my mindset is you can't have that. You have to say, "No, thank you, Brenda." I'm eating properly, salads. And it's difficult because if I get depressed or something goes on with the kids, and the only thing that seems to boost or get reduce the level of anxiety is a couple of scoops of ice cream. You know, I've learned that I cannot eat potato chips. I watch the needle go up if it's a needle, the Richter scale or whatever you want to call it. It's amazing. And I love potato chips. So I don't eat potato chips like I used to. I don't buy it. When I was able to drive past the grocery store on the way home, that I used to stop and pick up, I'd say, you got it, Brenda. You can't have it. You can't have it. And that made me feel good. And I'm at a point now where I just don't. I don't buy it. I can't. I can't bring it in the house. You know.
And when you drive by and when you say, I've got it now, I know what to do to take care of yourself, that feels really great because what's the adjective? Because you have now moved away from doing what your mother did, or you've learned a new skill. What is that?
I'm being responsible to myself because I don't want to get sick. I don't want it to get worse. I don't want to sit with the doctor and he says, Brenda, you're gonna have to do dialysis, or I don't want to hear that. You know, I just don't want to go there. In fact, how come I can't reverse it? You know, I don't know if it's reversible for me, but I want to try it. I do.
And your motivation now to continue is like, what do you see? What do you see your future looking like? Is it reversing it? Is it living 50 more years? What is it?
Yeah, I'd like to live as long as it would take for the kids to be self-sufficient. Specifically for my daughter to be fine. Fine means well taken care of. I feel responsible. I need to be sure that she's going to be fine. But I just want to live as long as I can so I could see, you know, when they get married or in the graduations and things like that. And I just want to be healthy. I don't want to wind up in a hospital. I don't want to be bedridden. I don't want that kind of help. I don't want to depend on individuals to get me where I have to go or what I want to do. I still have things I want to do.
So I heard from Allison that you went from an 11.9 A1C to a 6.7 A1C. And Allison had told us that some of that transpired after Marianne's class.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned one of the big things that she really, that made you feel much better was that you learned it was not your fault. Absolutely. Another thing you learned a little bit about activity, that you're allowed to cheat. So some tips and tools for nutrition. It sounds like you probably learned how to cope and learn some skills for passing by the store and not picking up the potato chips. But can you, in your words, because I just use my words, can you tell me just in a couple of sentences, what are the tools that were taught to you that you feel like really helped you make that hurdle and jump from where you were to under 7 point A1C?
I think what I remember is to relax. It's not as bad as you think. It's not your fault. Everything in moderation. We're not saying you can't have that anymore. You have to manage your food. You have, I think one of the guides at the end is setting goals. What you can and cannot do. So I never sat down and did exactly what those goal settings want you to do, but I'm going to, so that I could get more out of what I'd like to get done, which is reduce this whole diabetes thing. Get back to a livable number. Stop taking insulin, if that's possible. I don't know. And I'm hoping that my endocrinologist that I have now will help me with that, or let me know. I want to be free of the must-dos in order to live with diabetes. And if that means I don't have to take insulin anymore, if I just have to take a pill, I don't want to take a pill either. So if it means just controlling my food intake, I'd like to do that. So I have to try. Yeah.
It's amazing. What advice would you give to others who may be in a similar situation or facing similar challenges?
Well, I tell you, going to the Diabetes Foundation helped me. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to recommend that they're in an environment where they can get the information that will help them change. Because where else would I have gotten that information? I don't know. Thank God for my computer and everything and participate in class. I loved it. And for her classes, the workshops are the same. I needed to hear it over and over again. Is that my phone?
Yeah, I think it's your doctor. It's Dr. Shadek, who you're talking about. Sorry, I saw the
Thank
name.
you. Back to our appointment. That's my endocrinologist. Oh, see, I'm gonna get back. Yeah, she really made a difference for me, and I'm looking forward to her next session. And there's a few, because when I go online and see other workshops that are being provided, and I've watched a couple, but they didn't do for me what Marianne did. It's just not the same. And I listen, and the information is somewhat the same on what you can and cannot do. I just like her presentation. It worked for me.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Would you mind saying my A1C went from an 11.9 to a 6.7?
No, not at all. My A1C went from an 11.9 down to 6.8. Unbelievable. Even when I got it, I couldn't believe it. And I ran out and I got to the tennis court. I said, guess what? My A1C was a 6.8. And the girl who introduced me to the foundation says, oh my. I said, no, it's amazing. Couldn't believe it. You know, so it works.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yes.
When did you reach out? You said 2016 that you had the aneurysm and you were diagnosed with diabetes. But when did you finally reach out?
Could have been 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
So you've been with us since 2018.
Yes, I would say that. You could tell me better if you keep that information.
Yeah, we keep it. We'll look it up.
Yeah, because those 2 years, and that's probably the amount of time that I was in denial or very not happy with having diabetes, taking the metformin, and I'm going to break it up because I can't take pills, and I was acting like a child. I don't know. I was being resistant, you could say, I guess. I just didn't like it. You know, it made me feel bad. And then when I started participating in those workshops and I was getting all this information, everything in moderation so I can have this candy bar? It's great. I can do it once in a while and not feel guilty. That was the biggest thing. Because when I used to cheat before, I felt bad. You know, it did. I felt bad. But you can, have a couple of scoops of ice cream and not feel like you broke the law, and then get back to work. Eat the right foods, do your exercise. Thank God I'm active.
Yes.
I don't know about people who don't want to move, but
I hear you.
it makes a difference.
It does, absolutely. That's a big piece.
Yeah, a big piece. So I attribute that, along with the foundation, on how I brought my A1C level down.
And you've been with us since 2018.
Yeah.
Would you mind, that's amazing. That's amazing. Would you mind saying, if it resonates with you and feels right to you, can you say, diabetes was not my choice, but getting help is?
That's very good. Diabetes was not my choice, but getting help to deal with it was my choice. Yeah, and it worked. Made a big difference. And I look forward to going to the next 4 workshop sessions. Information that I've heard before and I need to hear again. It's good when you listen to the other participants and their questions. You know what I mean?
I do. I learn something new every time.
It's just, because that's them. It's not you. We're all different. But it helped, and you don't feel alone. And my best girlfriend has diabetes, you know. And when I found out all this information, I wanted to say, why didn't you tell me about that? What, you know, but maybe she had. I just didn't retain the information. I don't know. But I just feel good that I have the Diabetes Foundation as support. And I look forward to the future workshops. I think that's important. I do.
It's amazing.
Because it worked for me.
Are you in this one right now that started last week?
That's not Marianne. Better not be.
Wednesday nights, yeah. She's doing a Wednesday night. It started last week.
Did it start last week?
Yeah.
I'm going to pop in anyway.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll send you the link for tomorrow.
Yeah, send it to me.
Okay.
Skylar, right now is my number one priority. And working with Perform Care, I don't know if I need them. I have to put more in with her, you know, which I'm going to do. I just want to see the kid advance. But it's bothering me because she's transitioning from public school to a day reporting center that I don't know it's going to be good or not. And I just have to find the best place for her to be. And it's overwhelming. And I'm stressing about it, you know. So that's probably why I missed that workshop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I'm sure.
It's a huge life event for her.
Huh?
It's a huge life event for her.
Yeah, because her conversation, they consider her nonverbal, but and this is her. School tomorrow, right, Mom? Yeah. It's kind of, and Miss Jill, right, Mom? Yes. You know. And when I think, oh, Jesus, it's not going to be the public school system that has rules and regulations and what they can and cannot do, you know, safe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what kind of reporting center. So it's really had me engulfed in what I'm going to do with Skylar, or what's going to happen. But I have talked to myself to calm down, and it's been okay this far, and it's going to be okay. I just tell myself.
You're going to find the right place.
Yeah, please. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Ro, are there like, do you know of like programs where she could talk to other moms?
In this area, no. But you know, I'm on the board for Friendship House, which is focused on autism.
Is that right?
Yeah. So let me find out if my executive director knows any place in this area that she can recommend for you.
My daughter's a little difficult because of the misophonia and her reaction to, you know.
Yeah, it's a sensory issue. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know. That's
Yeah.
what you know.
Yeah.
You want this?
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
take it back.
So
We're good, right? Okay.
if she didn't have that behavior problem, she could probably get into a